UFC 324 is in the books. And what an event it was. What an event. The UFC 324 main event, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy, delivered 5-round banger war. Absolute carnage. Paddy went to the hospital. Justin needed to go to the hospital, but he didn't go. He didn't go. He said to Dana, I'm good. I've been through these wars before. I don't need to go to the hospital. But Paddy Pimblett, he had issues with his eyes. He had cuts. He had bruises. We're not sure exactly what happened to Paddy, but I think he just took a good old-fashioned beatdown by Justin the Highlight Gaethje. People forgot who Justin was. People forgot what he does to people inside the octagon. There's some viral pictures going around of all of his opponents. Justin Gaethje absolutely destroyed Paddy Pimblett. Almost knocked him out a few times. But you got to give it to Paddy the Baddy, right? You got to give it to Paddy the Baddy. He showed up. He didn't quit. But he didn't use his grappling. He didn't use his takedowns, his BJJ. Was it because Gaethje was too good? Right? Gaethje didn't use his leg kicks. Maybe that's the reason. If he would have shot the leg kicks, Paddy would have went for the takedown. Didn't happen. So it was a 5-round stand-up fight, and Justin Gaethje won the UFC interim title for the second time. That's 2 times. That's 2 times. Yeah, 2 times. Unbelievable. I mean, for me, I couldn't be prouder for Justin Gaethje. What do you guys think? What did you guys think of the win? Yeah, me too. I thought it was awesome. Super impressed. That's it right there. We got some news. We got some potential matchups coming in. We got a lot of stuff going on. Dana White says Arman Tsarukyan will be fighting at the UFC White House event. That's Dana White. Dana White says, yeah, he definitely got snubbed. He definitely got snubbed. And that's true. We all know that's true. We all know Arman got snubbed. But there's nothing we could do about it. There's absolutely nothing we could do about that. The only thing that can happen now is they can give Arman his title shot. Give Arman his title shot. But now Gaethje is technically the number 1 contender because he's the interim champion. So does that mean Gaethje gets the unification title shot? Absolutely. Absolutely. Where does that leave Arman? It leaves him probably fighting Paddy the Baddy. He's probably going to be fighting Paddy the Baddy. What do you guys think about that? You guys want to see Paddy the Baddy versus Arman? Is that what everybody wants to see? Paddy the Baddy. I think that's what we're going to see, guys. Paddy the Baddy. I think Arman probably takes Paddy. I think Ilya takes Gaethje, probably by TKO KO. And then I think we'll see later on in the year Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilya Topuria. And, that's the fight a lot of people want to see. Ilya wants to fight Islam. I'm okay with that too. But that'll be at 170. Islam did an interview or a little cut promo for Smart Water or some water brand with Triple C Henry Cejudo. And Islam made a joke. I don't have to cut weight no more. So listen, Islam is looking good. He's healthy. He's in his prime. Why cut down to 155 when you don't need to? You already did what you needed to do there. Work on 170, dominate that division, maybe get a couple super fights before you leave. That would be my suggestion for Islam Makhachev and Team Hakbib. Big fan of them guys. Big fan. All right, let's get into some news real quick. And the first question of the day is, what's next for Justin Gaethje, right? Everybody's posting what's next. There's only one answer. It's Ilya Topuria at the White House. That's the answer. That's the answer. And it's a tough break, though. Think about it. Justin Gaethje won the interim title. Won the interim title and they had to fight Khabib. We know what happened. Khabib put him in a full mount and finished, and that was the end. That was the end. That was the end of his career. Moving right along. Robert Whitaker had this to say about Paddy the Baddy. I don't care that he lost the fight. He comes back and beats most of those guys. Robert, Bobby Knuckles, Whitaker. I don't know, man. I don't know. Paddy's going to have to change up a few things on his game. And that fight probably took a couple years off his career. It was an absolute carnage war. Here's what Justin Gaethje says about Max Blessed Holloway, the BMF champion. I'm going to try to avenge that one. Justin Gaethje wants to fight Max Holloway one more time and avenge that nasty KO loss at UFC 300. Sign me up. Umar Nurmagomedov is taking some heat today about about his win versus Davison Figueiredo. People said it was boring. I agree. It was boring. But here's what Umar had to say. Anyone, anywhere, anytime, come get some. That's Umar. I'm looking at the UFC 325 fight card, guys, and I don't see not one, women's MMA fight. You got the main event, Volkanovski versus Lopez. The co-main event, Dan Hooker versus St. Denis. And then you got Ruffy versus Fiziev, Tuivasa versus Teixeira, and then Salkleed versus Malarkey. That's your main card. Ooh, it's not heavy, guys. It's kind of weak. Just saying. Once again, Dana White says Arman Tsarukyan will probably be fighting at the White House, most likely versus Paddy the Baddy. Dustin the Diamond Poirier wants to come back for one more fight. He wants to come back against Justin Gaethje. Here's what he had to say. This was on the Real Punk's Twitter. That's Josh Thompson's Twitter. I want to see Dustin Poirier come back for this fight to finish it up. And Justin says, I'll come back for that one. You guys want to see Dustin Poirier back in the octagon for one more fight? I do. Sign me up. Yes, please. Israel Adesanya does not want to fight at the White House. Here's what he had to say. I don't really want to fight in front of a bunch of suits who don't really care about the MMA world. Justin Gaethje now has 15 bonuses, totaling over $1 million. Big congrats to Justin the Highlight Gaethje on that one. That's a huge feat. Let's check out some future matchups. Go over some more news. We covered all the news. How about a couple future matchups here? Let's see. We got Fury versus Gaethje. We got Sorokian versus Pimblett. A lot of people want to see O'Malley versus Enter Sandman Corey Sandhagen. Curtis Blaze versus Waldo Acosta. That was a call out. And a lot of people are calling for Yair Rodriguez versus Lord Gene Silva. Tell me, guys, what you think about potential matchups. This is UFC 325 Fight Week. Once again, we rolled right in. We rolled right in from last week to this week, so we'll be switching over to UFC 325 news. I'll still touch on some news from UFC 324, but there's a lot more news coming in for this event in Australia. Once again, I'm Chris, MMA Uncensored. You guys have a great day. Drop a comment, give us a subscribe if you like this content, and we'll talk to you later, fight fans.